Domination Nation, what up? It's me, you, back on Dominations once again. Been a couple days, no big deal. Still playing the game like a champion. In fact, it's Saturday. All the boys are home. I kind of shoved them in the basement so they can play and do what have you. They may come up and say what up, but I don't have to go anywhere. And when I don't have to go anywhere, cheers to beers. In fact, the best football team in the NFL. Dominations and brewskis. Anyways, today we are going in to detail on raiding army composition. Basically, the cost per unit, per troop space, you'll see in a second. Let me smack the microphone around. And also the training time per unit space per troop. So that'll help us kind of analyze what's the most cost-effective raiding army. On top of that, I did build an Enlightenment age war base. So I know I get requests from people all different ages in the game, and Enlightenment is one I hadn't done yet. I mainly create war bases. They can be modified to become loot bases, but all that matters is winning wars, really. Looting, I mean, just go get your money. We'll talk more about that, though, here in a minute. Let's go straight into let's look at what's going on in my base real quick. This is a little loot saver base I made up. Take a look at it. We'll open the layout editor. Lately, it's been crashing on me, so if that happens, that's so Nexon. But anyways, the point of this design is that there is the 5 space between the oil and the troops outside of this box. So if your troops have not broken through this final wall, your howitzers and your British rifles, even if they have the range of 5, they can't shoot the oil. So I've seen oil protecting bases where they just do a little wall right around the oil refinery. That's nice, but any rifle or howitzer can just shoot right over that. So with this one in mind, they have to get through that wall before they can get to the oil. And what I did was, with that in mind, also put my bunkers, all my anti-tanks, sniper towers, stronghold, all that good stuff, a whole bunch of traps in there, so if they do get in there, they're not going to last long. It still works on the +5 mentality, +5 principle with my mortars, which I will always do, which basically means that anyone coming in from the outside towards my mortars, once again, will have to break through this wall to get to my mortars. No howitzer, no 5 range British troop can shoot that mortar without getting through that first wall. So that's another design feature. It's also the rotating flower layout. So essentially, once you break into an area, you're forced into across the map instead of into the map. And basically, when you move across the side of the map and not into the center, you're exposed to more time for troops to spawn, also for more time for defenses to rain down on you. So it's a great layout. I mean, this is my loot saver base that I just set up the other day. So if you want to take a screenshot, you can. But that's it. We'll skip over that. Let's see. Quickly going into research just to see where I'm at. This is what I've got atomically done. I've been atomic for 2 months now. I think 2 months, and then this is where I've gotten with my troops. You'll see why here more when I break down the cost and training time and stuff like that. There's my other guys, a bunch of generals hanging out there. Blah blah blah. Nothing exciting in there. Take a look in the university. That's going okay. That's going okay. I mean, I get bored of showing the same stuff all the time, so I'm really not going to get into that. For you Enlightenment age guys that watch my videos, or for the lower level guys that just started playing, I know there's not a lot of Enlightenment based layout tutorials out there. So the next thing on this video is going to be me basically doing my rendition of my favorite base in an Enlightenment age version. So let's take a peek. I don't know about you, but I've been experiencing a lot of crashes since the 5.7 update while using the layout editor. I've reported it to customer service. They won't compensate me until it's resolved. I told them that they should contact me once it's resolved and go ahead and compensate me then, but I'm going to have to contact them once it's resolved and then cross my fingers for compensation. So this was actually really difficult to put together. My system kept crashing, so what I did was move a couple buildings, then saved it, and go back out and start back over. And believe it or not, this is an Enlightenment age layout. Now my buildings are global, atomic, industrial. I mean, a variation of higher level buildings, but I've kept off everything that an Enlightenment age player wouldn't have. So all this extra stuff is stuff that they wouldn't have. The stuff on the screen is stuff that they would have. I also didn't use the outer rim of forest because typically if you're Enlightenment, this is about the most forest you have. And so let's talk about what I put into this design and why it will work for you for the most part. Now this is a war layout. If you want to make it a loot saver mode or whatever, you know, you just kick out your city center. I would recommend putting in like the fort or something like that, and then, you know, moving in stuff. So taking out this and putting in this. I mean, do you see what I'm saying? You can move stuff out and put stuff in, and then all of a sudden, voila, it protects your stuff. Not that hard. So it can be changed to protect loot if you want. The point of this layout is to show you the wall setup, the road network, and where to put the mortars and the anti-tank guns, and maybe even the stables, the most important defenses that you have for war. And obviously, if you're not using a Forbidden City layout, you want that center-placed town center for your war base, so you can protect the howitzers that are in there. Your friends will donate you howitzers. You want them all in the middle. So that's why I decided to go with this one. This isn't maybe the greatest one ever, but for Enlightenment age friends and followers, this will be a great start for you if you don't have anything else going. Here's what I did. Now I started out with a centralized city center, and so I measured the edges to find out where the center of the map was and stuff. And I do things like use my barracks to measure. Like you can do a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and kind of count how far something is. Anyways, you got to get the thing centered for this to fit into your map, obviously. And if you don't have a rectangular deforested area, you know, this might not work for you. But, you know, long story short, here's the keys of the base. You got your center place city center, which is going to be a higher chance for your allied donated troops in war, your howitzers and stuff, to get out of there and do damage. So you want that in the middle. Unless you have a Forbidden City, you might want to do a half and half base. And this may not be perfect for you, but the next thing is the 4 road paths going out of the middle. This allows for a higher road network, and it's not so intrusive. You don't have to build your map around your road network. You kind of anticipate that you want the roads coming out in this direction. It's going to give you a higher road network without clogging up your design and stuff like that. Another feature is that you only have 3 mortars in Enlightenment, but you do have a stronghold, which is like a mortar, and I recommend everyone max their stronghold. It's very strong. Get it? It's stronghold. So there's that. And so you want the 4 mortars in these corners, in these specific spots on this map, because of the 5 spacing protection that you have coming this way. So any troops coming in down like this are going to be skirting around this wall, and the whole time they're going to be rained on by that mortar. Also, once they enter in to this area here, coming in like this, they are under a double or an overlapping mortar zone, and it's not easy to target those mortars. Naturally, you almost have to rally on those mortars, and once you rally on those mortars, your troops get buried into the the design and kind of get surrounded and engulfed. So it's going to be really strong for you. Make sure you put the mortars right where I have them. I prefer to have my stables and my tanks or whatever, my stables, I guess it is, at Enlightenment, to be in the middle. They have a pretty large radius. Command post, you also have that, and that produces your special troops. So I went ahead and threw it in there for balance. You may put your 5th garrison there, and maybe swap it over here for your other garrison, something like that. You can change it around to whatever works for you. The key to this one is the mortar here and your 1, 2, 3 anti-tanks right here. And since you don't have 4 anti-tanks, the perfect place for your castle is going to be up in this section. You do not want it down here. If you put it down here, there's a chance it could be sabotaged with the town center, so you don't want your fort and your city center to ever be sabotaged by the same sabotage. It's basically 2-for-1 special. They can block your generals from coming out and your howitzers or whatever defensive troops you have. So make sure you have that up in the spot that I have it there. Moving on, it's got 4 entry points. You can see them right here. They are, and actually let me just peel back a little bit of stuff here. You can see the entry points in the map. So when troops without rally or even with rally try to get in, they're going to come trotting through these areas here. And these areas, like I said, are in double, whoops, erase that on accident. They're in overlapping zones for your mortars, which means a lot because a lot of people are British or Korean, and once you take out the rifles, game over. So really, if you can protect the mortars, very good. Also having the anti-tank guns not here but back there, keep them from auto targeting by tanks. So a tank's coming in here, maybe let's say, or a howitzer, he comes in here and he targets that guy, takes it out. Next closest thing is this guy. It's not this guy, so it's the 3rd defense to get hit. If you have it up here, it's the 2nd defense to get hit, or the 1st one to get hit. So if you have it back a little bit, it's 1 space out of range, and so it won't be targeted right away. Cancel that. Go back in. See if there's anything else to talk about. Basically, I recommend just taking a screenshot of this. I'm going to go ahead and strip the buildings out of this. Let me pause it real quick. I'll strip them, and then you can kind of see just the roads and the walls. Okay, here's with the roads, or just the roads and the walls. This may be easier for you to do the walls and roads first and kind of go from there, however you want to do it. But this is the bare bones. This is the most important part of the design. You can fill in your other stuff, but let me just reiterate that you're going to want your mortars in these spots. And let's see, what did I have there? It was the stronghold. I like the stronghold because it sprays out the stuff just like a mortar, and that way they're protected by those extra corner walls on the outside. You definitely need that, and I'm almost done with this layout tutorial, so just bear with me. Okay, and then Fort Canucks. Fort there. City center there. I mean, these are the things that I recommend you keep the same. You can change everything else. You can change more than that, but this is just a great starting point. If you don't have a good Enlightenment age base, it's a very good war base, and it can be adjusted for looting and protecting loot and stuff like that. So I'll try to do more different age layouts in other videos. I've been doing a lot of atomic and global and stuff because that's what I've been. But that is that. Now let's talk about raiding a little bit. Different people do different strategies. I've seen Pete on YouTube. He does like a heavy tank MK3 raiding or something like that, where he rocks like, I forgot how many heavy tanks and a few rifles, and he wipes out bases back to back to back to back, which is great strategy if you have heavy tanks, if you're in that range where you can still attack lower bases like industrial, I think, and stuff like that. That's great. And he teaches you a really good way of doing that. So if you haven't seen his videos, check out Pete. Let me look it up real quick, and I'll tell you who I'm. Okay, here's my buddy Pete. He is, as far as I've seen, one of the better tutorial videos about using the heavy tank. So he calls it the MK stream, 3-stream, MK tree, whatever you want to say. Very good. I'm going to show you something else, a little bit different strategy. And here's what I'm going to talk about. Cost per troop space. So when I do raiding, I'm looking to get as much loot as I can and have it cost as absolutely little as possible. On top of that, I want it to get trained as quickly as possible. And so what I did was I created this little chart. I broke the numbers down. I may be off on a couple, but hopefully it's pretty accurate. And I'll try to explain it because it's a little bit confusing at first. What we're looking at though, cost per troop space. So what I did was I took each troop. For instance, a tank is a 10 troop space tank, and I took its cost and I divided it by 10. So how much it cost per troop space in your army? You only have 140 spaces in your army, whatever it may be. You want to get the cheapest total army, and here's how you can find out how to do that. Veteran, the motorcycle raider is the cheapest per troop space. So adjust my microphone. So if you're wanting to build an army and not have it cost a lot to rebuild the army, start with veteran motorcycle or with motorcycle raiders. This is for looting. Okay, I'm not trying to win. I'm not trying to win the match. I'm not trying to get a star. I'm actually trying to drop medals when I loot. So I go up to like 1,500, 22,000 or whatever, and then I need to drop back down to like 1,000 medals. And on my way down, I train a looting army. And essentially what I do is I have 30 veteran motorcycle raiders, the cheapest troop to train per troop space. So I also bring 30 elite infantry, the second cheapest troop per troop space. So I'm keeping it as low as possible. I do bring 4 combat engineers, which are the 6th most expensive troop per space, but I'm only bringing 4, and they only take up a little bit of space. But they are very crucial when raiding, trying to get to that oil. You need to have a wall sapper break a wall for you from time to time, and I like to bring 4. So I can get to the oil. Sometimes takes 2 or 3 wall sappers, or maybe I need to get to all 3 food storages or whatever. I need a few different sappers. You can also use some of the 30 infantry that I train to bust through walls as well. I do bring 4 SMGs, and what I use them for is distracting troops. So let's say I take a group of maybe 5 or 6 motorcycle raiders and a combat engineer and a couple of infantry, and I rally them at a mill behind a wall. Once they go and break that wall, take that money, get whatever else they can, then there's a bunch of troops spawned out. So I drop a submachine gun on the opposite corner where he can not spawn any troops and just draw all the troops away while the rally is recharging. Once the rally fully recharges, I pick a new spot, drop my guys, same thing, a few raiders, a few foot soldiers, 1 combat or 1 wall sapper, and rally them in on another target. And you can do that over and over and over, and it's very cheap. In fact, you don't even have to use your whole army. Oftentimes I'll get out of a match and only have to train 20,000 worth of food, which is not much considering that I'm taking 3, 4, 500,000 in food. So that's a huge profit margin. You want to avoid in your raiding army these guys here. They're going to cost you a lot. Now I'm talking a raiding army, not trying to win the match. There are other strategies of raiding where you use your full all-out attack and wipe out a whole base, but there's 2 problems with that. If you mess up, it costs a lot to retrain, and it takes a long time to retrain. And on top of that, you don't lose medals, you keep gaining medals, and it's harder. The point of me raiding is to drop medals and get back down. That's the way I do it, at least. And I do it for as cheap as possible and for as quick as possible. So that's what we're talking about down here. The training time per unit, or per troop space. It's kind of confusing, I know. I'll try to make it quick, though. And what's actually crazy is for 10 troop space, the ARL tank is the quickest troop to train. It's only 35 seconds per troop space. Same thing with the foot soldiers. So also your rifles and raiders are right behind them at 15 more seconds, 50 seconds to train each one of those. So if you can keep your raiding army something in here, you're going to train faster too. I don't personally use tanks when I'm raiding much. So like I said, I stick to these guys right here and a combat engineer, 4 combat engineers to be specific. This is the time to train without blessing per troop space. This is with the French training blessing, and so you can see when I'm done, if I lose an entire army, it's usually like 50,000 retrain, no oil. I don't use any tactics or anything like that. And then on top of that, it only takes about 4 or 5 minutes to fully retrain my whole army while under training blessing, which is epic. If I do half army attacks and stuff like that, it's even quicker. But just use this, hopefully this helps you understand when you're raiding, you don't want to be wasting time. You want to be getting as much done as you can. So don't use these long training times, and you don't want to be wasting money on troops trying to make money. The less you spend, the better. So more raiders, more infantry. It's going to be cheaper, faster, and you'll be happier overall. Hopefully that makes sense. Get my dang phone on again. And it's reloading. So basically that breakdown is to show you maybe you're using the wrong troops. It's okay to use raiders if you're doing what I do, going down in medals. I'm at about 1,200 medals right now. When I get up to about 1,700 or close to 2,000, I'll use that raider army. Just boom, 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 boom. Raid all kinds of oil or food or gold or whatever I'm after, and usually it's pretty quick and effective. So hopefully that gives you a little insight on to how to better pick your raiding army. What else did I have to say? The video's getting a little long. Watch a replay. Sure, we can watch a replay of this base I'm running right now as my loot base. Here it is. It was victorious. He didn't get very much money. He didn't beat me. And we'll just talk about it as it goes down here. Comes in up top, and he's already used a sabotage, which we all know cost money. I rarely use tactics unless it's war. Of course, if I was going for the national trade goods, now that's a mistake on the decoy right there. Do you notice all those anti-tank guns I have in the middle? If he's going to run a decoy in there, it's going to be gone in 2 seconds. And he does it 3 times. Another decoy. All the traps get set. Whoop-de-doo. Decoy is gone in 2 seconds. And the barbed wire still takes effect when his troops cross over it. And he runs another decoy out there, and my anti-tank guns, and it's gone. 3 decoys, gone in 10 seconds. That's how not to decoy, by the way. The point of the decoy is to kind of distract enemy troops and mortars, but do not put them in range of... Dang it. Do not put them in range of anti-tank guns, or they're not going to last at all. So now he rallies down in the center. He's got my oil. Luckily I had a little bit of oil in the pumps at this point. So I guess he got me. If he was just going for my oil and stuff, I guess he got what he was after. But as you notice, my loot is spread out all throughout the map. So that way, even if he goes for one thing, he's not going to have easy access to anything else. And let's speed this up if I can. Just to see what happens. Yep. With all those traps in there, I mean, even though he decoyed the crap out of it, it didn't matter. So look what was available. Look what he got. Look at the cost. He used a Merc, 5 tactics. I mean, deep, dude. He went all in and barely got anything. So that's how not to raid, just so you know. And that's just with my raiding, my multiplayer layout. So there is that. My oldest son Dylan is coming in. He has a gamer Dylan.
That homie has 4 videos.
Poke in so they can see you.
Hi.
See the little.
I was just peeking in while you were doing your videos.
Yeah, he has a channel, Gamer Dylan. I'll try to link him in the description.
Link me.
I have not done that before, but I'll try to figure that out. Anyways, Dylan thinks that this game is awesome, right?
Yeah. A little bit, just a teensy bit.
You love it.
No, but I mostly don't like it that much.
You don't like it that much because it's so exciting.
I just thought. You're funny.
All right, and let's see. We are about out of time on this recording, so let's just say, join Sanford Tokyo.
Yeah, join Sanford Tokyo.
And
Hit the subscribe button.
hit the subscribe button. What else?
Hit notifications.
Hit notifications. Comment and like. And let's see. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
And give them a dab while we peace out.
Bye.
There you go. Oh, didn't work. It's still going. Stop the video.